Hi, friends. This is Mrs. Hernandez, and I am back with another wonderful story. This is another one of my favorite books. It's called Rosie Revere, Engineer by Andrea Beaty, illustrated by David Roberts. Now, friends, just by taking a look at the front of the book, what do you think this story might be about? Pause the video and tell an adult, a brother, a sister, or another family member in your home what you think this will be about. Pause now. Okay, let's start. Rosie Revere, engineer. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen. Friends, I'd like you to pause the video and take a quick look at all of Rosie's gadgets. See how many different things you can find in her collection of gadgets. Pause the video now. Okay, friends, how many things did you find? I was able to find a lot of different things. Very cool. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye, and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser and helium pants. Those helium pants are pretty funny. Would you like a pair of those? The uncle she loved most was zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day kept her dreams to herself. Friends, please tell someone that's in the room for you what just happened. Why is Rosie sad? Do you think that Uncle Fred tried to make her feel bad on purpose? Why or why not? Pause the video and talk to a brother, sister, or adult now. All right, friends, thank you for sharing your thoughts. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great Aunt Rose was a true dynamo who'd worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. What do you think about great Aunt Rose? I think that's so cool what she used to do with airplanes. Very cool. Would you like to do something like that? That night, as Rosie lay wide eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, No, not I. But questions are tricky and some hold on tight, and this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her ant fly. Oh, it seems to me like Rosie has an idea. What do you think Rosie's idea is? She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. I don't think Rosie should count herself out quite yet. She hasn't even tested her invention. Do you think it'll work? Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The helio cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Oh no, what happened? Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, "Oh no, never, not ever again will I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer." Friends, what do you think about how Rosie is feeling right now? Can you tell someone that's in the room with you how you think Rosie feels? And would you feel that way too if you were Rosie? Pause the video now. She turned round to leave, but then great great Aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. "You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. This great flop is over. It's time for the next." Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. "I failed," said dear Rosie. "It's just made of trash." "Didn't you see? The cheese copter crashed." "Yes," said her great aunt, "it crashed, that's true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew." "Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next." She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. Friends, what do you think that means? What Aunt Rose just said. What lesson is she trying to teach Rosie? Think about it. Is this something we all can learn from? They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer. And what do you notice, friends? Right down at the bottom of the ladder to the right. What does it say on that chair? We can. Hmm, interesting. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. Wow, it looks like Rosie is spreading her message to the other kids. Take a minute and pause the video, friends, and take a look at the illustrations. I love the way this illustrator illustrates these pages. Take a look at all the different inventions. How cool are they that all the different kids are making? Pause the video now. What did you think of these inventions? I thought they were so cool. I think my favorite one is the dancing with the disco ball and the dancing lights that the girl has on the right page. That's probably my favorite, but they are all Absolutely awesome. What would you build if you could make your own invention? Think about it. And that, my friends, is the end of our story. Thank you so much for joining me for another story. And I hope to be able to read many, many more stories to you in the future. Here's a great idea. If you have some extra things around the house, maybe things that you will be recycling or things you've been saving for just this kind of thing, what kinds of things could you sit down and draw out a plan for? What kinds of inventions do you think you could make to help someone in need? Till next time, friends, this is Mrs. Hernandez. See you later.